Hi everyone, it's Tessa. Welcome back to my channel. It's been a rough couple weeks. As some of you know, I was in the hospital for a week and a half with colitis. It has not healed yet. I still can't eat very little solid food. My diet is pretty blah right now, which is about all my stomach can handle is blah. And so I get a lot of toast. I can handle noodles. Scrambled eggs, yeah, but I'm kind of sick of them. I can eat them, but I'm a little sick of them. So I have vegetable juice. I can't have lactose. I made the mistake of thinking that dairy-free meant lactose-free. I asked the steward man who was there, and they said, yeah, they're pretty sure that's the same thing. No. Found that out when I tried out the dairy-free dessert. It was like ice cream. It was made with coconut milk. And I don't know if it was the coconut milk. It was the fact that it wasn't lactose-free. I don't know exactly what happened, but the result was almost immediate. So I know I can't do that again. It's been a pretty miserable afternoon waiting for that to clear. So I haven't been doing much writing, and I didn't realize how much I missed it till yesterday or the day before. I decided to write a little bit, and I'm like, I got really back into it and excited again for my story. So I stopped what I was doing, which was going through all this paperwork that I had accumulated over the time I was in the hospital. You know, stuff I had to do, things I had to fill out. I had to fill out the renewal application for Medicaid, and that I had to do. That wasn't put it off until later. That was get it done and get it back, or you're going to lose your benefits kind of thing. So that I had to do. But all the stuff that's left now is just mainly finding a home for it and the files, and I've been going through my file work. That takes a lot of time, but there's a lot of paperwork in there I really don't need, and I'm just overflowing with paper. So I've been working on that, and so I got the chance the other day to start writing again, and the excitement returned, and I got back into my story, and then I realized that my story went to the murders, and then right from the murders to the cops investigating and interrogating the suspects. And I'm like, wait a minute, kind of missing something here. Like, shouldn't the murders be found before before they suddenly start just investigating people for murder? So I had to add a whole nother section, which gave me, you know, plenty of time to write and get writing again and figure out what I wanted to write, and added a whole nother section to my book. And so that's what I was working on the last couple days. I started working on the story Bible again because I had started it and then kind of left off. But, you know, what with all the cops' names and keeping them straight and keeping all my characters straight and their relationships and the vehicles they drove, but I'm customizing this to my own thing. I'm not using all those long 1 to 2 page, maybe even some people have longer ones, but I don't need a character profile that big. I just need a couple items to be on there, like their addresses, where they work, you know, the kind of car they drive, who they're related to, and stuff like that, you know, that are important to the story. Like, I needed to know where they lived because, you know, I murdered 2 people. And so those 2 people, I needed to know where they lived, as opposed to, you know, where they worked. And, you know, there's a couple businesses in there that I need to keep straight because they come up, and, you know, that kind of stuff. So I've been working a lot on customizing my own story Bible, and I think really everybody needs to actually decide what needs to be in their own story Bible. Like, you know, getting one off the internet won't necessarily be set up the way you want it to set up. So by doing it myself, I can put in the information I know I need and not fill it with a bunch of, you know, spaces for information I don't think are necessary. And I'm not a plotter. I'm a pantser still. But as a pantser, the longer your piece gets, the more information that you need to keep in mind, because it's, you know, your mind can only hold so much, and things start getting confusing. So I had to concede, and so my concession was to have a story Bible. And this way it's divided up into certain sections, and I've been filling it out with major characters and the minor characters, and a whole section on the cops, the different ranks, so I know what rank is doing what. And this is just for the United States. If I was to write a story about England, I would have to get a whole different thing on how their police setup is, because I know they have a completely different setup. All the countries, I'm sure, have their own separate, you know, different ways of doing things. And of course, you know, there's a lot of checking with Google to make sure, because I want my novel, even though it's based in New Jersey, I don't want it to be based on real life. I want everything fiction, except for, I think I mentioned Cape May, which everybody knows about, just in passing, but not, you know, anything in detail about Cape May. I know that there's a sailboat race that goes on there. My friend always went to the sailboat race in Cape May. So I figured that didn't matter. I didn't have to completely make up. I could. I might still change it. I don't know. So I'm trying to make sure that all the information, you know, is not already actually in New Jersey. I don't want it to be in New Jersey. And I had created a name for a restaurant and then realized that the name of the owner was like Italian, but the name I chose for the restaurant name was French. So I had to do some research yesterday about French restaurants, French names, so I could get the name of the owner to be French and not Italian. Maybe nobody else would pick up on it. I mean, it kind of struck me for a minute. I'm thinking, man, that sounds Italian, but I'm thinking the name I chose for my restaurant, I don't think is Italian. And so I changed the name of the restaurant, which I don't know if I changed it in my book yet or not, but I changed it so that information is in my story Bible. So like different towns, different names of businesses, names of the police station, the names of the hospital. Since they are prominently displayed in the novel, they need to be somewhere so I can keep them straight. And then I have a list of all like the different police detectives, the police officers, and, you know, that kind of information. Name of the coroner. I don't know if I went and got names for the CSI people. They may have names too. But I don't know how deep I'm going into it. But I do know the Story Bible is definitely a way to go, even if you are a pantser, and a timeline. Not actually writing out the story, but a kind of a timeline of what should come when. Because like if I had had a timeline, maybe I would have noticed sooner that I jumped from murder to interrogation without, you know, them finding the bodies and whatnot, which is kind of important, I think. You know, maybe nobody would have noticed it. I don't know. But I noticed it, so I had to work that out. So that was another section I had to write. I'm not finished the ending yet. And then I had that extra piece that I'm trying to decide whether to try to make it into a second novel or just add it to the end and make my novel longer, because my novel's not going to be very long. I think even if I write to the very end, I'm not going to have a very long novel. And I'm not sure I can get enough information on this particular piece. It would include some of the people from the first one. Not everybody, but some of the people from the first one. And then I would have to try to get more information to fill it out. And I'm just not sure I have enough info to write 2 novels. I'm not even sure I have enough to write 1 novel. So I have to figure that out still. So I'm not really sure. So pretty much I've started writing again. I'm glad to be back into the writing. I didn't realize how much I missed it after going a couple weeks with no writing. I was reading, but I was reading books on Save the Cat, Go to the Movies, Romancing the Beat for writing romance stories. I had a couple of books lined up while I was in a hospital that I could read because I couldn't do anything else. And it's hard for me to use my phone for different things. I know some people use nothing but their phone, but I prefer a computer for most of my stuff, so it didn't work out so much for me. So that's where I'm at. I'm back to writing again. I lost a couple weeks there, unfortunately, but I'm back to writing again. I didn't get involved with Vlogmas. I didn't know what it was, and I was in the hospital during the first quarter of it or so. I'm just now finding out about it, so I'm not even going to try to do anything about it. I mean, it's almost, halfway through the month now, so no sense. Or maybe it is more than half. I don't even know what today is. I lost track of time. So I'm not going to worry about Vlogmas. I know now that it has to do with doing a video every day, and I just don't think I could do a video every day. I'm having enough trouble just keeping up with my live streams without trying to do a video every day as well. I haven't started editing yet because I still don't have the programs downloaded into my new computer. I have to find out what I need to get them transferred over, whether there's a key or whatever. Because I have Scrivener to bring over. I have my Pinnacle editing program. I have Fillmore. And a Fillmore is now number 10. It was 9. Now it's 10. And I don't know. The one I paid for was 9. I don't know if it will carry over to the 10, or if I have to download the 9. I don't know. A lot of things I don't really know. I haven't tried yet. But those programs have, like, when I used OneDrive, as soon as I opened up the OneDrive on my new computer, all the stuff came over. I was like amazed that everything was like there. And it was like having my old computer back, because it's got like a personality. And, you know, I thought I was starting fresh with a new computer. But as soon as I opened one step, everything went to the way the old computer was. So, like, oh, well, that's good in one aspect. I don't have to worry about copying everything. Oh, I did copy everything to a external drive, which I bought, which obviously I didn't need now. But that's not hooked up either. But I guess I can store stuff on there. But with the, you know, with the OneDrive in the cloud, you store everything up there. You don't have to worry about it. And it just transfers to the new one. But I didn't know that at the time, or I would have saved myself the money and not bought an external drive and the hassle of trying to copy everything over to the drive. But I don't have to copy it back over to the new one because it's already there. As soon as I open OneDrive, everything appeared. It's there. I'm like, okay, I know how this works now. This is a lot easier. Just change computer and everything's there. Just sign into OneDrive. So that was a lot easier. So anyhow, that's where I am. And like I said, for those of you pantsers who find keeping that information in your mind difficult, use a story Bible. You can create a world. It doesn't have to be a fantasy world. You can create a contemporary world. And the information's right at hand, should you need it, like I did. When I got too much information, it was just too much to handle. I was used to writing short stories, so it didn't bother me. But I realized writing longer stories is definitely not as easy to remember all that information. I mean, the story's in my head. I have that. That's not a problem. It's all the little details that make a difference. That, you know, oh, well, in this chapter they're driving this car, and in this chapter they're driving this car. Oh, wow, wait a minute. What car is theirs? So by making the story Bible, and as part of their character profile, I put in the vehicle they drive, where they work, you know, their address, the information that, you know, you might need in the actual book, but may not keep in your head. I mean, I don't need to write the story down. I know the story. The story is, you know, but a timeline's not a bad idea. You know, if, like, I'm finding a few things are out of order, and I may have to think about the timeline, adding a timeline to the story Bible. Just another page with a storyline on it, you know, to keep it in the right order. Not get out of order. It doesn't have to be the story. It just needs to be a couple general points to keep me in the right direction. So that's pretty much it. I wanted to say I did definitely finding the story Bible to be a good idea. I want to make sure everybody, especially the pantsers that are new and are struggling and not sure why, create a story Bible. It can be just a simple, I'm using Excel. I'm using an Excel file. Some tell me that some of the programs like Scrivener have places for keeping info like that. I haven't used Scrivener enough. I haven't learned how to use it yet, so I have it, but I haven't used it. But there are other programs out there you can use. You can even use Google Docs. You know, just something to keep the information that you can pull up and have it there so you can make sure you can verify you're using the right information. I have a lot of brackets in my story. This is check this, you know, check this, check this. I'll have to do a find and replace on, or find anyhow, on the brackets so I can find each place that needs to be fixed and put that information in there, because I couldn't remember, like I said, the names of the cops. I couldn't remember what kind of car they drove. I remember the name of the business they were working at, all that stuff. So, you know, I have a lot of brackets in there to go in and fix too. But now I have the information in one spot. It's going to be a lot easier, especially things like addresses. I had to come up with a bunch of different addresses. No way I was going to keep them in my mind. So yeah, Story Bible. That's the way to go. Even if you're a pantser, there's nothing wrong with a Story Bible. And I highly recommend it, in fact. So that's all for tonight. Everybody, keep well. Be safe. I know the virus is still raging out there. The country's still in a turmoil. Hopefully that'll settle down soon. It'd be a lot better if Trump would stop his antics. He's acting like a spoiled child. And we don't need that. We have enough problems to take care of without a spoiled child who can't give up the presidency that he lost. It's official now. Give it up. Oh, I don't even want to talk about politics. It's just frustrating. So, back to my writing. It's almost time for my live stream tonight. So, I'll be able to get some writing done tonight, hopefully. And I'll talk to you all soon. Bye now.